Good morning, my friends. It is Friday morning, Friday the 13th of December, and we've had a great week, and we're heading into an even better one in our ecosystem. Finish the week out strong. We've got a couple of more things to crack on today and into tomorrow in my world. Big family Christmas party on Sunday, one of our Christmas parties. We got a big family over here in the PeaceLoveMusic world. Friendly reminder, we also have awesome friend of the show, Reece, tremendous artist in our space and the broader crypto space, coming to chat with me this morning. After I read you the news, we do got some great news, and also a friendly reminder, this is a news show. We are providing news and information only. We are not providing financial advice. Always do your own research and never invest money you cannot afford to lose. With that being said, Bitcoin holding on to the 100K range, although the market does seem to be a little bit steadier. We had gone up to 80 on the Fear and Greed Index yesterday, back down to 78. Stacks settling in at $2.30, dropped down a couple spots to number 46 by market cap on CoinMarketCap. And the top three gainers of the last 24 hours are Virtual, Core, and HBAR. We do have some gainers on the day. Actually, I didn't get my calendar up. So our stacks calendar for the day, we have the Good Morning Show every Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And then tune in at 11 a.m. We have our weekly SIP call with Hero Gamer and the Stacks org. Come out and talk about what's going on with Stacks improvements. And also, if you have any ideas on things you'd like to see innovate or ideas for any of the projects building on Stacks, this is an open call. Come out and grab a mic, engage in the conversation. We love having different perspectives come out and share with us during the call. So come out at 11 a.m., support the ecosystem, and contribute by learning about what's being built and giving us your opinions and your feedback on what's being built. We love that. At 2 p.m. Also want to there is a special 10 a.m. X space for Alex, so make sure you check that out as well. They're announcing something new with the Surge campaign, I think. And then at 2 p.m. we have Trust Machines Good for Bitcoin show. At 3 p.m. we have Stacks Africa Friday. At 4 p.m. we have Stacks Nigeria Pushing the Narrative. And at 5 p.m., great way to round out the week is the Purple Pill Friday with Dan and Brad. Great vibe over there. That's actually another great place to touch base with the community and what's being built out. You get a lot of the West Coast guys there in that show. So, and a lot of times the Australia group comes in there too, because it's a good time for them. So that's a great space to round out your week and kind of catch in and touch in with some people that maybe you're not regularly getting conversation with, other people in the ecosystem that are engaged in other stuff going on. I won't be able to make it to the Purple Pill Friday show today because it is my youngest birthday. Happy birthday, Ramona. She is 13 years old today. And as soon as I'm done with the SIP call, I'm probably going to be wrapped up and tied up with other stuff, including a lunch date and maybe going and spending some money. We'll see what happens. So happy birthday, Ramona. And we will get to, reminder, Ramona is actually stacking stacks, by the way, and earning Bitcoin yield. When you stack your stacks, you earn yield in Bitcoin. Tell your friends and your daughter, let them know. It's important. Down the line, she's earning Bitcoin passively while she's actually having a nice day off at home for her birthday. Started out with not giving blood. She had to do a blood test just for work and stuff, and for school or just regular checkup stuff. Nothing serious. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos to donate $1 million to the president-elect Trump's inaugural fund. the Wall Street Journal reports. This is on the heels of yesterday, Meta founder Mark Zuckerberg donating $1 million to the Trump inaugural fund. These guys are trying to buy forgiveness for what they've done to all of us. U.S. President-elect Trump trolls Jim Cramer. Cramer says, should people buy more stock? And Trump says, I don't want to get into a situation where they do and we have a dip or something, because that can always happen. You know that better than anyone in the world. I don't even know if that's a troll or if it's just a matter of fact statement. U.S. Congressman Tom Emmer says Gary Gensler has destroyed the SEC's reputation with his failed regulation by enforcement approach. That's, totalitarian dictatorships don't last because it's not right. You can't dictate to other people how they can and can't act. That when all parties are consenting in the transaction and no one's being harmed, but you can't do this because we say, that doesn't last. You can't rule societies by that. You have to allow them to rule themselves, and we're finding that out again. Texas State Rep Giovanni Caprioloni. I should be able to pronounce this. I'm fluent in Italian last names from where I come from, but that's a little bit. Caprioloni officially files a bill to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the state of Texas. That's really cool. U.S. Senator Cynthia Lummis says America must win the Bitcoin race. BlackRock's Ethereum ETF surpasses $3 billion in inflows as experts predict Ethereum could surge to $15,000. Donald Trump's team reportedly explores slimming down or abolishing banking regulators, including the FDIC. As I mentioned earlier, Alex Round 2 Surge has been announced with a prize pool of 2 million Alex tokens. You can tune into their space today on X. That's at 10 a.m. Eastern Time to get the full details on how to get the maximum yield on your SBTC. Is there a deorganized show schedule platform coming soon? Resident tech lead Trippin' Monkey has been helping to build out a platform. I know I'm only supposed to tease this, so teasing. Has been helping to build out a platform for displaying information about the deorganized shows, schedules, host info, and more. Stay tuned for V1 release coming soon. SPT target launch is set for Monday, the 16th, although I think the nitty-gritty really starts on Tuesday. I don't have all the other details on it, but the community is very excited as this long-awaited functionality for Bitcoin comes to Stacks. Billions of locked Bitcoin liquidity is about to have far more capacity to be deployed into DeFi. This is great. This is really great. We do have 2 new SIP proposals in the last week. Rosar from Charisma has introduced a new Stacks improvement proposal for a standard for creating permissionless liquidity pools on Stacks. A very, very interesting development. I know there's a couple of different projects working on similar things that may not work exactly the same way. So it's always great to kind of get to work on a standard when multiple parties are working on similar things to make sure that what they're working on works interoperably. That's the name of the game here. And then another one, Stacks Pay, was introduced early last week. It's now live, and there's a new SIP proposal from Dan from Boom Wallet, Dan Trevino. You can read more about the new payment standard at stackspay.org, and you should also head over to boom.money to get on the wait list for pending launch for Boom Wallet. Bitflow's Runes AMM is currently in the 3rd wave of testing. Very soon, the entire Stacks ecosystem will be able to bridge their runes into Stacks as SIP10 tokens deployable on Stacks DeFi applications. This will not only bring a lot of interest to Stacks, but it's also going to unlock a lot of liquidity and functionality for Runes token holders as well. So this is a great thing. Even if you're not, if you're in Bitcoin and you're on the Runes side and Meta Protocol side of things, but not into stacks, you're going to be able to use your Runes for a lot more stuff pretty soon. In stacks, come on over. Are you interested in helping builders and devs test out their projects on stacks? We're building a tester QA community. You can DM me at PeaceLoveMusic on X if you're interested in joining. We've got a good group in there. Also, if you have a project that you're looking to get testers for, you can DM me, and we can get you into that group as well. We need devs to come out and use our tester network for some QA. So we do have a varying group of testers and devs in there. So if you're looking for help in that respect, we got you covered. Check it out. And then again, we get the Stacks SIP call on Friday, every Friday at 11 a.m. Today at 11 a.m. Eastern time with Hero Game on the Stacks org. Come learn about the latest developments on the Stacks chain and give us your input on what you would like to see built on Stacks. That is the news for the day. And I do have Reece waiting. I'm just going to check in with the people that have said hi. And in the chat, no, we got a couple. Good morning, Squib Finn. What's up? What's up? Hey, nobody famous. What's happening? Good morning, Hero. We love you, man. We need to give retroactive funding to Trip and Monkey. No. Trip will help with whatever we give him, but I think that Gordon is actually the guy. Gordon and Hamish might actually be the spearhead team for that. I don't mind if Trip works on it, but I think that I think Gordon actually might be the guy. Hero. Let's look at that one. Good morning, Bow Hunter. Good morning, Deadwood. What's up? We have a great community. I'm so happy. And bringing in Reece, the big red machine today. What's up, man? How are you today?
I'm good, and you? And happy birthday to your daughter, Ramona, as well.
Yeah, she's great. I have 7, but if I had to pick a favorite, might be her. And I love them all, really. They're all great, but she makes me smile just thinking about her. They all do, though. I'll give money to Trip. Yes. Yeah. Man, what that guy can do with no money, we need to get budget. If you guys are listening, we need budget for this space. There's a lot of awesome people here putting in tons of work, building out stuff, but we could build out way cooler stuff if we could actually secure some budget. So if you're of that vein, you can also DM us about that too. And thank you, Hero, for the happy birthday as well. Loving the Velodrome. I'm not that's a base token, I think, right? I'm not on that. I'm not on Velodrome. So what's new with you, Reece? How are you, man?
Oh, just everything. Like, when you work on a project and then you get an idea that completely elevates the project, but it also like scares the shit out of you because, oh my gosh, you're not just like a project founder now. You might build a whole continent out of this idea. That's where I'm at right now. But I'm sticking to my very, very trusted advisors, people I look up to. I'm going to run the idea past them and maybe hear what they got to say, what is possible and what isn't, and not what isn't possible, but what still needs to be made possible. Other than that, I'm just working on art, having fun. The life of an artist,
Yeah, man, I get it. So what are you toying with? What is the idea? Or what can you share about it?
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm sorry.
No, you did. That's all right. That's the way you tease, not how I did it, where I like said
you were like, I have a plate of food, but here it is. No, but I love it, man.
I can't help it. I don't do well with keeping secrets. I just don't. I don't. Like if I have to, I have to. So Nobody Famous brings up, she says that you and GPSC look alike, like you could be related. And before I even knew what either of you guys looked like, I felt like there was a similarity in your spirits a little bit. That you guys both seem very, very similar people. I mean, obviously everyone's unique and different, and but you guys both have a tremendous energy. Maybe that's what it is. It's the energy. You guys both are very, you're both kind of tortured artists. There is that, right? But you smile through the torture, right? You smile through and you get through and you get, this is what all that work was for,
Suffering is essential. Suffering is essential. But I get that. And you know what? I actually don't even want to put myself in that bracket, but GPSC, he just expels so much love. He's always attracting the good stuff. So I hope I'm part of that good stuff, because I believe in the same thing of, put out more love than you take and just leave the world a better place. But and that's very much GPSC too. But yeah, obviously we're brothers. Like, I thought everyone knew this. We were just separated by space, but not by time. I mean, we're still, so that's half the battle.
Right. No, you guys are, well, and there's a number of things here. Like similar people attract each other. People that are on the same wavelength attract each other. That's why we're here together. That's why me and GP actually align so well. That's why Nobody Famous enjoys tuning in and talking to us and watching us and chatting with us when we come into their spaces and stuff, because we're all kind of the same. We're projecting similar energy is really what it is. We accept that there are uglinesses in the world, yet we persevere to overcome them.
Yes. The ugliness is just as important as the goodness. It's just less enjoyable, but it's just as important. You wouldn't know what the goodness is without the ugliness. So
that's right. You can't. Right. It would all just be.
Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna put on a hat.
Oh, if GPSC comes walking on stage, this is going to be trippy, because I have actually seen them both together, but maybe it's just one of Michael's AI pieces. Who knows? Oh yeah, it's definitely different. Different styles, but definitely very similar energies by a lot, but definitely different dudes.
Yeah, man, but what's up with you? I can't believe you're actually like not taking the day off from the morning show. I would.
I can't take the day off. I thought it's more like an Outback hat or something, right? Kind of like getting a little bit. If you're out in the sun, you need the brim, not a shit. Nobody says it's a dad hat. She gave you the dad hat style. No, but listen, could I use a day off? Almost every day, I feel like, I mean, I wake up but I can't, even when I'm off, I can't stop. And we just got so much we're trying to achieve with Deorganized, like, yeah, I'm old enough to know that, like, well, part of it's because my Mrs. P's Love is in bed by as early as she can be. Like, if it's 7:00 in the evening and we've had dinner and she's done with all her stuff, she's in bed. Even if she's not going to sleep yet, she's in bed. So my capacity to stay up late has been dwindling since two things. Number one, I'm not really regularly getting together with anybody and playing music anymore, which used to keep me up until... See, the best part about playing music when it's an open-ended thing, right? You get together and if you're with like-minded people that are just into just kind of exploring the space, you can do it for like hours and hours and lose track of time. You just kind of lose where you are in things if you're
the flow.
Right. So you're like, you're jamming. You start at 7. You might be playing until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning before you realize. So I don't have that. I'm out of practice for staying up that late. So I wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning at the latest most days, and I'm already in my DMs, and I'm building Deorganized, and I'm working on the show, and I'm working on the guests, and I'm working on the news items for the morning show and stuff. But I love doing it, and I feel like the consistency is appreciated by the ecosystem. I think that this is something that's helpful to the ecosystem, so I don't want to leave it. Eventually, I'd love to be able to hand it off to, hey, Reece, can you fill in the morning show for me? Hey, GPSC, hey, Jack, hey, Blockface, you want to run the morning? There's a bunch of people in our Hattie, there's a bunch of people that can potentially fill in for me, but we're still building out the tools to be able to. That. It's just a little bit early for that. So I will have my chance to rest. This is my time to keep building. I just can't do it. But so nobody says that she's saying he has to put on a dad hat like GPSC. She was saying that you need to put a cap on so we can see.
Well, she didn't specify what hat I should put on, so
I knew what you were. I knew what was coming, but part of me was deeply terrified that GPSC was going to pop out on the side. It was going to be, you guys are the same person. I'm like, no, not it. That's not it. How long have I been married? So my wife and I my youngest is 13. We just had our 13th anniversary on Monday. We got married just in the nick of time because my wife had been going through a divorce, and I was actually going through a separation at the time as well. So I had 4 children prior to. My wife had 2. We actually made an intentional decision to have a common child between us. My traditional views on marriage is that it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't mean anything. Like my intentions aren't tied to a promise I made at one time. It's
not measured by paper.
Yes, exactly. Like my feelings on the matter are that it's largely unnecessary. So I was with my ex since high school until my early 30s. And I was single for the first time in my life in my very early 30s. But I had 4 kids. And I was really actually very, very upset with the situation. I didn't want to separate from my ex and have my kids experience that, In the long run, it probably was for the best. But I wouldn't have met my wife. So obviously it was for the best. But it's we've been together for 13 years now, my second relationship, and it's I feel like we're in a pretty good place as far as that goes. But yeah, it's been a long time. And Hero, you had your chance when you were, if you had started having kids at 19 years old, you could have done it. But I wouldn't recommend it to someone of an advanced stage to try to get to 7, because it's a lot of work. Just having 2 in the house now is kind of still busy. So thank you. Yes, 13 years is a long time, and it does show some commitment. And she's I'm the luckiest guy in the world because she brings all the value to the equation. I'm such a spoiled bitch, really. I don't do laundry. I don't have to. Not that I can't or won't do it. I don't do laundry. I very rarely cook. I help with the dishes, but not really because I don't have to, because it's just not something I'm so spoiled. I am absolutely so spoiled. It's ridiculous. So enough about me. What's
I just, we completely like went chapter and now we talk to this, but now I'm going to go back to the previous one again about what you said about building time, right? Last night I was in a featured space from on the from hosted by the Asura marketplace. Asura is a marketplace on Bitcoin built by the team behind On-Chain Monkeys. So it was a pretty big deal. I was really honored.
Oh, that is
But
awesome. Danny's super
yeah,
cool. Yeah.
yeah, and it was like a featured space, and we were talking about Bitcoin as a canvas. And at the end, we came to a point where it was like, okay, what's like the finishing thoughts? Like, if there was an artist listening in the space right now, wanting to get started, what would be your advice? And I basically just made an example of myself where back in May, I was really still like struggling. I was fumbling with my thumbs the whole time, and I was very nervous and not very confident speaking at all. But now I'm like on live streams and stuff. But anyway, the point is, we came to the conclusion: showing up is really all of it. Like, not just half the battle, it's all of it, because eventually you will warm up, you will thaw, and eventually you will have something that you feel is of value to say, and then shit starts happening, So it's really just about showing up, speaking to people, putting yourself out there. And now's definitely the time to do that. If any time in the point of crypto history, right now is the time to do that. So I'm just happy that I've had the opportunity to thaw, that I had some time to get comfortable, because I've got a feeling 2025 is going to be hotter than ever.
I agree. And really, that advice is universally correct always. Like, right now is the time. Always. Right now is the time to do that. Right now is the time to push your boundaries, to challenge your own comfort levels, to put yourself out there and get engaged and participate. Good morning, Gary. What's up, man? I got to get Gary on the show more often too. I haven't gotten a chance to chat with him in a little while.
Another busy dude, a very, very busy dude.
That's, you said it actually in one of the spaces. I don't remember whose space it was, where it was, but you were pointing out how every one of us is building. Every one of us is building stuff, and it's actually all kind of like we're building it together, but from different angles. But it's all stuff with an eye towards, we can plug this in, we can plug that in, we can plug this in, and
and we keep figuring out where things are intersecting. It's like, oh my gosh, I was building this thing. I wasn't planning on having this extra feature, but this feature plays now very well with what you're building. And then boom, you've got overlap.
Yes. Oh, I think I misunderstood what Hero was suggesting. I thought he was suggesting to give Trip the lead over our retroactive funding.
No, he needs to get the money.
He needs some. Well, he can't take. Well, we're working on that. We're working on that too. But we do need to have. There's so much going on. There's so much going on. We all win. That's right. Gary's working on great stuff, and Trip's working on a bunch of different awesome stuff, like several different things. That's great. We're working on some really cool stuff. Dan's working on some really great stuff with Boom Wallet. I think that they're building out some really cool things with Gamma. We'll see how it goes, but I think that there's some cool stuff there's tools for our community that otherwise don't exist anywhere else. That's why artists it's a place to use something. Zero Authority is building out some really cool stuff, and
yeah, I'm so excited for V2.
Oh my gosh! And Zero Authority and Boom, and there's a V2 of Seigel coming out. By the way, they're still working on that, but that's going to have some really cool functionality, and it's all stuff that's going to actually be interpluggable in a way, I think. or how I see it. You know, you'll be able to utilize these tools in a number of different ways. Really cool, very interesting stuff. But there's just so many people building. You know, I haven't even mentioned Jack and GPSC and you and Kitty and all the stuff that she's contributing, and you know, Hattie's been instrumental in helping us, and all the stuff, all the groundwork, and all the laying that Hero does around all of it. Seigel's not back yet, but they're working on they are working on it. They are working on it, and it's going to be we're working on some cool things on Deorganized. I'll just say it that way. And Trip is at the heart of it. You know, Trip is actually at the heart of it. Without him, none of it would actually be even possible. It would just be theoretical stuff. And he's making theoretical stuff like, oh yeah, we can do this. Yeah, we can do that. And there's some interesting stuff coming. Baby steps. So I mean, the stuff that we're first going to do is the first stuff is going to be kind of basic and not all that flashy, but it's really cool stuff that Trip's building for us there as well. But yes, there is a V2 for Seigel. I don't want to say too much because I don't know the tech stuff enough to talk about it, and they're still in like alpha testing and stuff like that. But we talked to them a couple weeks ago, and there's some cool stuff there. Well, listen, you earn the kind words, Trip. You earn everything, man. Like, I can't ever thank you enough for what you've done for just Deorganized, let alone the rest of the ecosystem, man. So mad props. I have one of the Explorer NFTs too, and I actually just picked it up a few months ago because I wanted to start writing on Seigel, and I thought that would maybe help me log in. And there's some issues there, so I don't know exactly what this means, but according to Leo from Seigel, that the because they had built it on Gaia, that kind of limited some of their functionality, and they're updating. They're working on that. I don't have a timeline for that, but there's probably going to be some capacity to integrate that into other platforms, like maybe a centralized content creator hub at Deorganized. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But yeah, we're rising all tides. We're rising all tides here. There's so many people. That's the thing. It's amazing how this is coming together in such a really weird, organic way. It's like I've never witnessed anything like this, actually.
Yeah, me neither, man. Not at all. And you know, to be able to call these people friends, right? It's not just acquaintances and business partners or something. We're actually like, a lot of us are really friends and always in each other's DMs and talking and in group chats and whatnot. So. And then on top of all of that, we have all of these interoperable, projects that we're building. And somehow, I find myself between all of you. I have no idea. Do not question me. I have no idea how that happened. But here I am on this.
It's because like energy attracts. It's really
okay, but like we're talking about like geniuses here, okay? I am no genius, and then we have people like Gary and Trip and Dan, and you know, and it's like all of these people together, and now Stuart's showing himself to be quite the genius as well, and it's like, oh, I make pictures.
Yeah, it's we were talking because Stu was on the AI show yesterday, and when he left, because he had to leave early, he had something else he had to go work on, and we were kind of talking about how Stu's life has changed dramatically in the last 2 months from what he's been working on and learning and how to use AI and apply it to coding and make his ideas happen. And to be honest with you, I think that force multiplier is actually helping us manifest some of some of Trip's superpowers. You know, that's also massively multiplied by the advance of AI and that technology. And
Yeah.
Gary's right, man. You are a genius, man. You don't sell yourself short. You're well, all right, right? Who's we love you, man. We love you. But no, listen, look, I
Too
don't
much
like
red today.
You're matching your shirt. Listen, it is what it is. I don't call myself a genius, but I know for a fact I'm an intelligent person. That's what it is. We're all on a capacity to communicate and understand what we're saying and kind of get what's going on. And at the same time, we're also Hero, you're definitely a genius. But at the same time, we're also, it's not just the intellect, it's the willingness to actually see the bigger picture and be a contributor and find a way to fill in and give of yourself to build something out to the group, but also very much you're a part of that group too. You know, it's all part of it. But hold on, I need to Hero, you're not everyone's artistic genius is the same, right? Not everyone's genius is identical. Your capacity to maneuver and not manipulate, but kind of manage personalities and projects and understand what this person's needs and what they think they need and who can help is definitely there's an art to how you put it, you know, to how you drive everything. And what is genius, I guess, right? Do we want to get into that subject? What exactly is genius? Is it coming up with something no one else thought of?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're just all very capable, high functioning, capable people. I think that's really the terminology we need to use. But there's definitely, so you have to have a little bit of intelligence just to get here, right? To get into the space, to understand stacks, to engage in all of the, to be able to kind of function around some of the social media tricks and things you have to get into. To run restream, you have to be at a certain intelligence level just to be able to do that stuff, right? So we're already in a pool of people with high intelligence, in my opinion. Like, it's just a lot of that here. And not everyone has the same level or the same skill set, but I think the capacity to think and reason and understand what's going on is above average within our peer group in our ecosystem.
I'm going to say something. So I don't know how many people actually know of education. I guess if Landy was here, he'd know what I'm talking about. But there's a very prominent educational psychologist called Howard Gardner, and one of his most popular like thesis was the 11 intelligences theory, and that's been built on more to like closer to like 15, but the basic one was like the 11 intelligence types. Now I would argue, to be here, okay, to just build on what you said, now to be here you need the right combination of intelligences. Like if you have musical intelligence, right, and then you have a speciality in that, but you also need some social and interpersonal intelligence to be able to navigate between other people without disrupting the system of that the other people are creating, to be able to communicate, in this case verbally or textually, in a way that you get your message across, but the message also gets received correctly without disrupting the system that is, the rules of communication, for instance. You need like these handful of intelligences, and you need them at a high enough level, because you also need the technological side. That is a whole, thing on its own. So I guess we're just a couple of people with the same type of multiple intelligence range. Certain people are super specialized in one. Some people are less specialized in one but have a few, and other people are just actually like, I don't know, superheroes. They just have genius levels of intelligence in like 5 of the different ones.
Well, I guess so. You're talking about some people are more well-rounded in their capacities.
Yeah, but you can be well-rounded, but that roundness isn't very big. If we're taking a graph from all sides, you can be well-rounded, but it's not very big intelligence. That
Right.
sounds insulting, but you know what I mean.
No, I understand. You can be well-rounded, but that doesn't necessarily mean you can be well-rounded. You could be a well-rounded genius or high intelligence. You could be well-rounded mid-level intelligence. You could be well-rounded but lower level.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not mutually inclusive concepts.
Or you can be extremely one-sided, where you, for instance, you're extremely intelligent when it comes to technology, but you have zero intelligence when it comes to interpersonal skills. So in that case, you might get misunderstood a lot. You might get frustrated because you feel nobody understands you, because you can't communicate it correctly. There's all these different types of archetypes that get formed from the different ranges of intelligences.
Sure. So it's what you're saying. Well,
Gary,
there's a broad range of people in. Sounds like me. Yeah. Well, listen. I think Gary communicates very well. And I think he's very intelligent, and he understands. He's very well-rounded. And I think there's a lot of that in our space. But you're right. There are some people that are way more intelligent on the tech side and have some trouble with communications, which is why there's a room for someone like me to do media in the space, to provide a platform for, not that you need the communications help as much as, not that it hurts you, but there's other projects out there that don't have the same skill set that you have as far as public facing, interacting out there, and all of that stuff.
Yeah, I have to agree with Trip. If we were all the same type of intelligence, we would not even have a society, firstly, because we'd all just be good at one thing, or not good at anything, which would be worse. We need all these different ranges of intelligences for society to work. We need all types of people. And at the end of the day, that is the important takeaway, because you could be extremely intelligent and revolutionary, pioneering, creating a whole industrial revolution on your own type levels of smart. But if you don't have somebody that can convey that to the public, if you don't have somebody that could actually execute it, run it, then you can do nothing with the idea. So there's all these different sides to it. But yeah, I'm not very good at conveying what is in my head. I'm still very much learning, like, social cues, manners.
So, and you're right. There's a lot of that stuff is. I might be impatient for a lot of that stuff. I can, depending on the situation, I can force myself to be, but I don't really care for formalities. I want to get down to the nitty-gritty of things, and what Gary's saying is right, what Tripp's saying is right, and I totally agree with you. Variety is the spice of life. We can't, not all of us can paint. Not all of us can paint. Not all of us can write songs. Although not all of us can paint masterpieces. Not all of us can write songs that are masterpieces, right? But everyone can paint a little bit. Everyone can put paint on a brush and experience that, right? But some people have special, unique talents there. Same thing with music. Same thing with hosting spaces. Some people are really, really great at that. Some people are proficient. Some people are scared to death out of it because they don't know what to do. And I'll tell you, the first couple of times I hosted spaces, I was like, wow, this is really like, it's more stage fright than going on at a small club and playing music in front of people you don't know. At first when it's new, right? And you press your boundaries and then you get over it. But some people never get past that. Some people never even get up on stage, and that's okay. Some people don't want that. We can't all be the show host for every show. Sometimes we have to sit in the audience. So we need an audience too, right?
Yeah, but it's not even a dichotomy like that, because in order for there to be a show, our devices need to be charged, and that electricity comes from a power station, and somebody needs to do the hard work over there, right? It all
Somebody's got to lay the lines, right? Somebody's got to lay the lines. Somebody's got to plan it all out. Yes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, we actually do need a lot of work as a society on access to power, access to energy, cheap, abundant energy. We have the means to actually produce this as a society now for everybody. Food, water, clean food, cheap energy. We should actually have that. We should have that mapped out already with the abundant access to resources we have as humanity has globally. But we're still working out. Maybe we're not so intelligent as we thought. We're still working out some of that interpersonal or those inter-operational relationships. Even at the individual level, at the state level, at the local government level, at the supranational level. On a global scale, there's a lot of planning and design, but it's still not really functional for what I think the majority of humans would like to see as far as how we manage things, right? Like 99% of people, if you ask them what they think about war, they would be opposed to it. But we're unable to stop it. Even though we have probably there is the capacity to prevent it to a large degree beyond what is actually affected. They don't. So for instance, what's gone on in Russia and Ukraine for the last 4 years now, or whatever, 3.5 years, didn't have to happen. It could have been avoided. Specific people in positions of power chose this path. And it's not any one in particular group, by the way. There's several different groups that made decisions that led us into this horrific, violent, unnecessary amount of destruction and death. And it's unfortunate, but I guess we still need to learn why it's better to sidestep those things. This could have been avoided in a number of ways. Really, if we just said, no, Ukraine, you're not joining NATO, because that was the agreement we've had for decades upon decades. At the very least, if Russia then still continued to invade Ukraine, it would be a lot more clear as to what their intentions were. I think they wouldn't have, because I think that their intentions were based on avoiding not letting NATO set up in Ukraine, because of course they wouldn't. Just like we wouldn't let the Soviet Union set up bases and forces in Mexico. We wouldn't allow that. We're not letting China just start setting up shop in Mexico and or Canada. We would intervene in that situation, rightly so, in some way. And maybe it takes two sides to tango. What am I saying? Well, I'm saying we have a long way to go. We have a lot to do, but I think we have more capacity to reach better results now than we ever have at any point in our timeline to date.
Yeah.
So I'm very encouraged, even though I've been disappointed that we aren't farther along the path that where we maybe could be. It takes us to keep working on it.
Yeah, but when it comes to like actual pace, if you just take the last 100 years as an example, or not as an example, but as a and compare it to the previous 2,000 years. You take the last 100 years and you put it to the last 2,000 years. We are richer, we are more healthy, we live longer, we have less war, less global battles than ever before. And we live in like bliss. The majority of people, I'm not talking about people actually in the center of those war-torn countries or but we do in general, if you take as a broad sense of it, in history we're doing well. And it might take longer than we actually want it, because like you said, go to the person. Do you want people to go hungry? No, of course not. Do you want people to go to war? No. Everyone feels that way, but it's just going to take time to dismantle this intrinsic system that leans towards war, that leans towards corruption.
Right. No, you're right. It takes time because it's institutionalized. It's ingrained within our current social structures. And
it was designed this way.
It was I don't know if it was necessarily by design or by influence that it kind of went this way. Like it feels like there's this pendulum almost, right? Like we swing towards individual freedom, then we swing back towards empowering the states, right? And then we swing back towards more another eye towards individual freedom, and then we swing back more towards an eye towards, it's like that chaos from perspective. Chaos on the side of individual freedom and order on the side of top-down authoritarianism. And as we get more towards, we have the paradigm shift seems to, as people become more capable of ordering themselves, they have the tools to create their own rules and act accordingly. And they're less dependent on the centralized structure to do that for them. Then they build up the skills to do that. And so there's less of a need for an ordering because the chaos is mitigated at the individual level. So that's part of what the tools we're building out now in blockchain with open source, peer-to-peer, distributed, censorship resistant. The tools are there to actually build the self-ruling skills. So we have every reason to be optimistic about the future.
Yeah, and I mean, dichotomies infer equilibrium. So if there are these two sides, there must be a middle, a best possible route to take. And it could feel like we just go back and forth. And I often feel like that. But at the end of the day, we've never had blockchain. We've never had AI that could help us before. We are progressing in ways that do matter, and it's not just on face value, but it actually is tools that will help us get to there. It might not be in the next 10 years. But yeah, I don't want to go in circles. I just
Yeah. Well, it might not get there in 10 years, but to be honest, with how fast some things are developing with the advent of large language models, it's not really even AI. It's what we're calling AI, but it's not what AI will actually be.
it's not close to AGI or
But even with these large language model tools, our capacity to iterate has increased just extremely exponentially. So 10 years, we could see a shift in things in 10 years, which would have taken 100 years because of, guys like Stu can just do way more than they could before on their own. So when you start putting these people together and quantifying, digital Stu with digital PeaceLoveMusic and the capacity we can build things together now, where the two of us would have had to hire someone with the skill at an extremely high cost, and who's available and can they actually even build it like we're telling them to, it's amazing. So yeah, man, I think that the future's bright. Things look good. I think we have a great community in our ecosystem, and we're building out great things. And I'm super excited to have friends like you that I can rely on to jump in and keep me from monologuing all morning and save everybody else from that as well. I've had you for an hour this morning. Thank you so much, sir. Any last words for our audience?
keep your eye on the BlockWeb account. And if you're not following,
oh God, yeah, you definitely should be following BlockWeb. Just when should we expect more from the BlockWeb account?
I think in the next week.
So we got more coming. So we got some news from BlockWeb to look forward to with the SBTC launch coming next week. Boom Wallet should be coming soon. I know Zero Authority's got some stuff they're going to be dropping soon. We got some stuff coming from Deorganized. I know Gary's pushing it on Gated. Just tons of stuff going on, man. But definitely should be following BlockWeb. Who's not following the BlockWeb? It's at the BlockWeb, in case you didn't know. Reece, I love you, man. You have a blessed day. I'll see you at the SIP call.
Yeah.
All right, man. You have a blessed day. Thank you for coming out today.
You too, man. Have an awesome day.
You too. I am PeaceLoveMusic. We are Deorganized Media, coming at you live on BitcoinLive, Decentralized, broadcasting every day, Monday through Friday, with our good friends in the Stacks and broader Bitcoin ecosystem. Thank you, Reece, for coming on. Thank you to everyone that tuned in and chatted with us. Good Hero Gamer, Nobody Famous, Squidfin always saying hi in the morning. Love you, man. Reece for coming on. Gary, Trippin' Monkey, everyone that had something to chat about. We love our audience. I really do. I love this. Oh, the Deadwood that chimed in, coming in. I haven't heard from you in a little while. Bow Hunter, everybody, man. It's just we love our audience. We love our community. And we love chat with you every morning, even though it takes a lot of work. We love doing this. We really believe in what's going on here. Friday, come out to the SIP call in just about an hour and a half, 11 a.m. Eastern time. Check out the Alex show at 10 a.m. I'm really interested in what they got going on there too. And we'll be back at you. Peace out.